Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's jump in the queue here. I'm trying to remember if I think I'm on kind of a losing streak. I don't really remember for sure. I think the last few games on the channel have mostly been losses, but it was a couple days ago for me, so who knows. A fresh start. In the meantime, I don't know, let's watch Plague U versus Meowth. Plague U. Is that some sort of play on like anything in particular? It sort of reminds me of like the Korean commentators for StarCraft, right? Like, I don't know, when in particular the ways that English people wrote down what it sounded like the Korean commentators were saying when they were saying plague. So, plague, right? I don't know. So, but maybe it's something else. Maybe this person went to Plog University. I don't know. I wonder what Meowth emoted. He said something, but I wasn't paying much attention because he just emotes a lot. And I believe I have him muted, and so I was surprised to see anything here. Maybe that only applies when I'm playing against him. Not when we're watching a game. Anyway, what is happening here? Who is winning? Economically, it looks like Meowth has way more drones because of all these Vivids, right? 18 income to 10. In terms of attack, kind of seems like Meowth might also be winning. Is that correct? I guess Plague U is... Now I'm saying it. Anyway, is mostly up in Pixies? Well, okay, no, there's... Yeah. I don't know. We have 7 permanent attack now compared to 6. But Meowth continues to get more econ and also has like a bunch of green, so or more green income, so maybe saving up for some big Gaussite turn. I see. That must be what he voted earlier. I'm not sure what the point is of holding all these Pixies. I would tend to click most of them since they're basically killing engineers here. I don't know. I guess they're just killing a wall. So, but like, I don't know. You would want to do what? Right now we're doing 7. So that's that's force field wall onto wall. So each of these kills an engineer. So you might as well just click them all, is my opinion. But it doesn't hurt much to. God, what a jerk. That's why I have him muted. It doesn't hurt much to save them since it's not like the opponent. Well, the opponent is using the energy, right? They were buying Vivids last turn, as well as this Galvani. If we click all these Pixies, I can't squelch when I'm spectating. It's the worst. If we were to kill all these NGs, opponent wouldn't be able to build more drones or more Galvanis. It's unclear whether they should, but like taking away that option for them. Yeah, see here they got another Galvani because we kept our Pixies. And they're gonna get like it's going to get harvested, so the opponent is happy to be allowed to build this. Are we? We just emoted in a moment you'll be saying the following and then nothing else, really? Okay. You seem a little bit dead here, right? Yeah. Alright, well, Meowth wins. I guess we'll stick around since we probably get matched with Meowth next. might as well wait to watch the game finish. He's playing like a tier 8 player, right? That was what this guy was? I have half a mind to message this guy and tell him to just mute Gawith, but, you know, that's not for me to decide. I just, like, I worry that new players are put off by master tier players who not only crush them, but are rude. Like, you can't really do much about the matchmaking because there's just no one else to play against, but... Big Fat Rat, tier 9. But... Wow. They had the like the luminary tier border when we played them the other day, and we got a gigantic rating for beating them. So I wonder if there's someone Smurf or what. Anyway, this game is holy wow, right? Like this is a super red-green kind of rushy thing. I'll emote him. I can't even see what he says back, but that's okay. I don't. Hang on. I could swear. There we go. Anyway, I think DDC next is good, better than DA. And then, like, paying a lot of attention to when each player is able to threaten Tia is a huge deal. Even if you end up not buying Tia, because like Protoplasm is a good enough tempo play, maybe. Okay. So opponent is going to cut the drone to get the green faster. That's fine. And probably a good play. So isn't this line, like, quite vulnerable to getting Tia'd? Oh no, opponent just wants to rush out a Tia. Wow. No, they're not. Okay, so here's the thing. Opponent's line, like, okay, rushing out Tia is not strong. But what opponent has done is quite vulnerable to it, right? Can we not just CA and then win? With Tia? This Animus is a huge commitment by opponent, and so was cutting the drone to build a conduit. Say we Tia and they like Protoplasm and hold 2 drones to defend. Well, no, we'll be building CA and then they can build something. And then we build a Tia. They can build like 2 NGs and 2 Tarsiers or something. Ugh. To defend a Tia, they would need like Proto NG. Proto and several NGs every turn, right? I don't think they can do it. I think that this like was just too little stuff and they're gonna lose to Tia. That's what I think. Especially if they don't build any engineers here. Like, are you gonna try to counter Tia? Is that the idea? I don't think that works, does it? You could, like, counter Tia, hold 4 drones. That's 4, 6. 3 on the Tia body is 9. That just lives for a turn. And then they're threatening 9 against my Not all that much. Oh, but wait. Now if they counter Tia and hold 2 drones, 4 drones, it's 2, 6, 9. Well, I'm only threatening 8. I think I kind of have to do this, having done what I did. Otherwise I lose to enemy Tia. Yeah. And then we just kill him next turn, right? Okay, good. I thought that was too fast, but I wasn't sure. So, I don't know, not a lot to analyze. I kind of said all the things that mattered, is that, like... Well, okay, the thing to analyze is, suppose the opponent had rushed out this naked Tia, what would we do? I think the answer is we would build a Blast Forge. And just defend with walls. If opponent doesn't actually rush out the Tia, like, okay, here, the line I'm imagining is this, right? This is sort of like the fastest player one can realistically get out of Tia. We just do this. Against a Tia, we're like perfectly fine. It's like I can defend this damage forever, right? And I don't need another engineer. This is plenty. And now, like, opponent can build a Tarsier if they want. But I can just wall... Oh, I built too many engineers. I forgot how much this force field is worth, I guess. Okay, so I can even build a drone if I want. Here I want one more engineer to account for the Tarsier, but I could just drone and then force field later, so. And like, there you go. We lived through the Tia, right? No big deal. And now opponent just has 2 attack and 2 drones, and we're, you know, quite comfortable with 14 drones against that. Did I actually build an engineer here? What an awful play. Yeah, this engineer to account for the Tarsier is silly, but no, it's... Why did I build an engineer? Because I wanted to be able to double drone, not because I needed it to defend. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Anyway, and then we just transition into, like, building attackers. Maybe something like this, maybe, I don't know. I guess the engineer was silly, because it meant that I can't drone on the next turn. But anyway, the point is, you can see, like, opponent is miles behind here. And anything we do will win. So that's why opponent went with this drone, is because it's well known that it's easy to defend a super rushed out Tia on green-blue, and I threatened to have green-blue available, so they did this. But I think the losing play was this. Was it the losing play? Because when it happened, I said it seems kind of reasonable to, like, all this green stuff's pretty good. It's tough. I don't know. I think it's really rough for player one here, actually, because... you want to be ready to threaten Tia, and you also need to be ready to react to Tia. And all of this is like really easy if you have a natural conduit as a line, as player 2 does. I think... So, because it's relatively simple to defend a Tia that's rushed out very quickly, I think player 1 might do better to just build a turn 3 conduit. You're not in as good a position to threaten an immediate Tia, but you have the option to go like red or blue after that, and you know, depending on whether your opponent like sets up a Tia or not. The problem in this set is that like if opponent does set up a Tia, it's pretty easy for them to like just delay it if you respond defensively enough, right? Like let's say player 1 does as I suggest and just goes DD with this plan, right? I mean, I can threaten the Tia, but this like, I think this just clearly loses, right? Because I'm gonna have more green than I can really spend unless I like either Tia or Proto, neither of which is much good as a, you know, right away. So I think this conduit would just be wrong for me, and I would just build an Animus. Now opponent doesn't have to worry about me getting Tia. Not yet, anyway. And they can even try a Forge, maybe. Forge isn't much good. Like, I'm just worried about the Animus because it might be hard to defend my next turn Tia. I don't know, maybe they should do this. And say, player 2, you have made yourself vulnerable to Tia by getting this Animus. Right? You can still get first Tia. I don't know. Like, do I just lose now? Is that what happens? I'm not sure. It's like, I have a counter Tia if I want it. But I think it probably loses. Like, counter Tia usually loses. That's the rule about counter Tia. Opponent has a lot more green. Or something. They didn't need to hold back a drone because my Rhino's dying. So you can get a Rhino here, which is a big improvement. Well, no, it's not. It's just gonna die. But I don't know. It means I breach for fewer drones, I guess. Actually, probably should put some damage on the Tia, because if you don't breach for that Tia next turn, you're dead. There. Something like this. And, defended, right? Yeah, can't quite kill the Tia, so damage the Tarsier. Or kill the Tarsier and damage the Tia. And I don't know, force field, why, you know, obviously, why not? And so, like, this counter Tia leads to a draw. So neither player is winning here. Kind of an interesting play, and Therefore, it might have been incorrect to like Tia here, but it's a threat, right? And I was worried it might work out, but you don't have to do it. You can go like TTG. I don't know. I think this is the direction the game should have gone in, is like a slightly slower conduit from opponent. What if I got a proto? Probably not good against 1 damage. And I don't think Tia by me is so good, but I'm honestly not sure. Like it is lining up with a bit more damage. I don't know. Like, opponent can defend and get a proto. That's pretty friggin' serious. I don't know. And they have all these Tarsiers. Yeah, this Tia does not look very good for me, I don't think. This defends. Oh, it doesn't defend. I thought we were losing a Rhino, but... Well, I think this would clearly lose for player 1 if I did that. They have some other options, but oof. Yeah, so I think they need to be worried about my turn 5 Tia and therefore should do something other than this double Tarsier Gauss Cannon thing. The Gauss Cannon's probably too greedy. I don't know. Maybe this. I just 2 drones. We can force field. If you need the defense. Anyway, so I don't know how it all works out. Like, I'm not a Tia expert, and Tia mirrors and non-mirrors are both confusing to me. But my point is that, like, this very aggressive approach is uncalled for. And is countered by the, in principle, unsound player 2 Tia rush line. I don't know. I mean, the other line I took for player 1 also seemed to lose. Well, not true, right? I took the slower conduit line, and if you don't Tia, it loses. But if you Tia, it actually like draws, was what I showed. So player 1 can try that, I think, if they're so afraid. Like, I think the reason to make plays like my opponent did in this game is because you're terrified of Tia. And that's because you think like player 1 is disadvantaged in this set and you think you're gonna lose most lines. So if that's true and you have a line that seems like it should draw, then I think it's a reasonable play to go for. And that's DD, DDC, CA was the drawing line that I, for like getting your own Tia then, and then the player 2 counter Tia draws, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, let's I had I think like 1 or 2 favorited games against the bots that I thought were interesting for some reason. Did I already look at these? I guess I didn't save any of them, so I'm wrong. We've already looked at these 2, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Huh. I thought I played a cool game or 2. Oh well. So I think that I will call it for this episode, and we'll be back next time with more Prismata. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.